Hey guys, welcome to the OVERDRIVE channel. Now we are out here today with the Bounce Infinity E1 Electric. Now this is the first high-performance electric scooter that Bangalore-based manufacturer Bounce has introduced into the country. And although it's one of the most affordable electric two-wheelers that you can currently get your hands on, it's priced at around 70,000 rupees ex-showroom Maharashtra. And this price is inclusive of all FAME 2 and subsidies. The major talking point about the scooter is the fact or the manner in which Bounce has made it available to its consumers, where you have a couple of options. Option one is where you buy the entire scooter, which is inclusive of the battery and the charger. And option two is where you simply buy the scooter and you rent out the battery by paying a monthly subscription plan. There are a couple of those as well. And that entails you use a battery and you swap it out for a recharged one at the Bounce electric swapping station. Now, I don't have a lot of time to spend with the scooter. I'm just going to ride it around town for a bit. So without wasting any more time, let's bounce. Now, I should mention that the Infinity E1 scooter that we're riding today is a pre-production model. And although much of what you see on the scooter here is going to make it to the production model that will hit the streets in a couple of months, it will undergo some cosmetic adjustments and tech tweaks. The Infinity E1 is a quirky looking thing, and it really doesn't look like any other electric scooter currently out in the Indian market. The round headlamp unit looks a bit odd on a scooter with a lot of flat, smooth panels, but still, with its projector lamps and DRLs, it all adds a premium touch to an otherwise rather simple looking scooter. Now, this is a scooter that's meant to give you the most bang for your buck. So here, function takes precedence over form, and the level of fit and finish echoes this. There are evident panel gaps all over, and some of the switchgear feels like it's lifted from two-wheelers that came out a decade ago. The display is a simple LCD unit that gives you readings of speed, battery charge, vehicle range, odometer, Bluetooth connectivity, and other indication lights. It would have been nice to have a trip and a clock though, just to let you keep track of rides a little better. Now, the overall styling of the Infinity E1 is rather simplistic, and there are modern touches like the LED lighting, and you even get these pillion footrests that sit flush on the side panels and pop out once you give them a push, but they really didn't appear to function really well when I tried to put them back in place. Also, the side stand on the scooters we tested looked a bit odd because of the way they protrude out, and they can also tend to scrape the ground once you lean into a corner. Now, Bounce tell us that the production model scooters will address these issues and also come with the main stand as standard. The Infinity E1 comes with two ride modes, Eco and Sport, and these limit the top speed of the scooter to 45 and 67 kmph respectively. There's even a drag mode that you can switch to in the event that you suffer a puncture and have to get off the vehicle and push it. Here, the scooter will crawl alongside at the speed of 3 kmph. Now, engaging in something like reverse mode can be a tad tedious because it involves a number of steps. Like first, you have to switch on the hazard lights before you press the brake lever, and then hold reverse down before you actually throttle to get into reverse. The Infinity E1 also gets features like geofencing and other vehicle data that you can access once you hook up your phone to the scooter via Bluetooth. But we're told that the app currently is still undergoing certain processes with the app stores and therefore couldn't be experienced on this trip. Now, if you opted to buy the Infinity E1 scooter along with the 2 kWh battery and charger, you still technically could go to a Bounce swap station and pay for a swappable battery on the go after undertaking some formalities via the app. But on the other hand, if you were to buy just the scooter without the battery and charger, and you tried to charge a pack that you picked up from the swap station with a home charger unit that you managed to get your hands on, it simply wouldn't work because all the batteries are IoT enabled and monitored by Bounce. Now, Bounce aims to set up one of its charging stations within a kilometer of each other in every major Indian city by next year. And they've also said that they are tying up with a number of restaurants and grocery stores in order to do so. But as of now, the charging network is limited to around 200 battery charging stations in and around Bangalore and Hyderabad only. So now the Infinity E1 is a scooter that's meant to take on the Indian urban riding scenario. And at that, I found it to manage pretty well. So as you can see, seated on the scooter, well, the seat is at a very accessible height. It's nice and accommodating. It's a broad seat as well. And I don't think shorter riders are really going to find this to be a problem. The riding position is a very relaxed one. As you can see, the handlebar is a bit rear set, which is nice. And as far as ground clearance go, the ground clearance is more than enough to tackle any speed breakers that you will come across in the city. And the suspension really manages to soak up or dilute the sharp bumps as well. So it manages very well as a scooter in terms of functionality. I really like the fact that this rear tire also is substantially thick, which gives you a bit of confidence over loose gravel and stuff. So that's something I really liked. What I didn't, however, was the fact that this the front apron, the rear of the front apron, doesn't come with any cladding. It's straight off plastic, and you can tend to scratch the paint, which will look a bit gaudy. That actually happens. So there's no real protection down here. There's enough space though for you to store something if you had to travel with that on the go. Otherwise, in terms of functionality, it works quite well. Armed with a Bosch BLDC motor with a peak output of 2.2 kilowatt. Performance of the E1 is smooth off the line, even with the throttle whacked open completely in both modes. But the initial shove is very relaxed and isn't as strong as I would have liked. When you're traveling at around 30 kmph, there is a small surge in power to help you carry out an overtake till around 40 kmph, after which, if you're in power mode, the scooter goes back to accelerating in a relaxed manner all the way up to its top speed of 67 kmph. The E1 is very light and easy to ride. Now, riding the scooter around town will be a fuss-free affair thanks to the low seat height and the rider-friendly ergo. Even the chassis and suspension feels perfectly set up for life in the city, and the scooter will gladly dilute any sharp bumps that you come across at low speed, while it really doesn't feel unsettled if you hit an unforeseen bump at 60 kmph either. It's no corner carving scalpel, but the E1 feels pleasantly manageable. And the turning radius is pretty good on this thing too. The electric gets disc brakes on both ends, which have a regenerative function when employed. While the right lever functions a combined braking system, I found it to lack a good amount of bite, while the left lever functioned the disc unit at the rear perfectly well. Now, something odd that I came across was the fact that the instrument console displays 6 bars of charge when the battery is completely topped up. But this dropped down to 2 bars after riding just little over 25 kmph, and this upped my anxiety levels a bit. The range indicator on the display did tell me that I have around 30 kilometers more to go, which would imply that there are certain calibration settings that are in order here. The Bounce Infinity E1 electric scooter that you see here is a pre-production model, and the company tells us that there are going to be a couple of features that are going to change from the model that hits the streets soon. For instance, the passenger footrest at this point, well, they are a bit flimsy, and they're supposed to be this one motion footrest where you pop it back into place, but it doesn't seem to be wanting to comply with that right now. And a couple of other things as well, for instance, the panel gaps and a couple of issues with the electronics as well. Well, the company have told us that they do plan to iron out these issues by the time these scooters effectively hit the streets, but we'll have to really wait for a later time to conclude over that. Well, currently, Bangalore is the only city that Bounce have effectively set up shop in, to the extent of which they have set up around 200 charging stations in and around the city. And well, this scooter is all about the swappable battery and the charging stations, which add to the whole, which make it an interesting package, or a proposition rather. And if you stay in a city besides Bangalore at this point, well, you will want to really think about that currently, because Bounce still haven't set up their charging stations in a lot of cities besides Bangalore and Hyderabad. So that's something you will really want to factor in.